Hey everybody, come on in. We're going to give a few minutes for folks to join. Hope you are doing well. What a wild morning for the markets. Hey Pickle Rick. Hey Than. Welcome. Matthew Davis says, "Let's go shopping, boys." That's the right mentality, Matthew. Dollar cost average. Thunder Funder says, "Gotta love crypto." Yeah, indeed. Morning, Jennifer. Hey Yankton. Head case, morning from South Jersey. Hey, fellow New Jerseyan, welcome. Victoria, hi from Italy. Wow, I love Italy. My wife and I went on our honeymoon there. I need to go back. We spent like 3 weeks in Italy. So good. Um, 007 Bond says, "Stack those sats." Yep, buying opportunity for sure. Spencer, hello from the UK. Welcome, Spencer. Excuse me, Spencer 101. Welcome. Cody Bear Ranch says, "Holding from Texas." Yep. Uh, this is just the volatility that is normal in the crypto market. Um, from a macro standpoint, and we're going to talk about it. We're headed to new all-time highs in 2025. Christian Werner says, "Hello from Norway." Welcome, Christian. John Carm says, "Oh my God, buying opportunity for sure." Yeah, all cost averaging, right, folks? Obviously, don't put your life savings into it. Be smart, have your savings, have your 401k, but um, certainly have to diversify into assets to outpace inflation and the devaluation of currency, right, folks? RLC Cuber says, "Hey, Tony, here from UK. Welcome." Um, Doug Wanman, if I'm saying that right, hello. Apologize if I butchered that. Mech420 says, "Yeah, from Croatia. Welcome." Wow, we got quite a few folks, international folks here: Norway, Italy, Croatia, UK. Edwin says, "Hi, Tony. I'm from Chennai, India." If I'm saying that right, welcome, Edwin. Um, awesome, great to have you all here, folks. Really crazy day, right? We got a pullback, Bitcoin under 40K. The altcoins, as usual, will follow coins move, and that's generally how it plays out. Bitcoin has this gravitational pull, where if it's moving upwards, it'll pull the altcoins upwards. If it's dumping, the alts will dump. But that's all part of the great aspect of this crypto market because it certainly gives you opportunities to buy and dollar cost average in, but also to swing trade where you can make some really nice money, folks. So, really quick note, guys, if you haven't seen my interview with Kathy Wood from yesterday, please check it out. It's really great. We touch on a lot of topics and tech and the disruption and crypto and blockchain. We touch on the Ripple XRP ruling, Gary Gensler, will he have a job after the presidential election, and much more. You don't want to miss this interview, folks. So be sure to check that out. All right, everybody. So Bitcoin right now under 39,000 here on TradingView. You see the red candle forming. But when you zoom out from a macro standpoint, there's like nothing to worry about. We've seen this time and time again, even early, or I should say not early, but in the middle of 2023 when Bitcoin was making its, look at that big dump in August of 2023, consolidated, found support, boom, move up to new highs for the respective year. So we just have to be patient. Nothing goes up in a straight line. These are principles. You know what I used to do, guys? I have a notepad, and I'll highlight it here. It's actually one from Google. I had gotten from Google a couple years ago, and I write down some of these things to remind me that when the market moves in a certain way, okay, let me go back to my source of truth. Market cycles playing out on the micro and the macro. What are the next steps I should do? Right? Should I look at dollar cost averaging in? If everybody recalls, I've been talking about Bitcoin's back after the tracement to 48 to 50K range, down to 30. Now it looks like it may find some support here at 35K. We'll have to wait and see. No guarantee, of course, but buying opportunity for sure. One of the indicators is that DXY is looking strong. It's moving upwards. So assets are going in the opposite direction. And sometimes when you have tunnel vision for crypto and you're only looking at crypto charts, you don't have a full understanding of what's happening. If the DXY is moving up, all assets are going to not perform as well. It's not always a perfect science or correlation, but 90% of the time it is, right? Because the liquidity is bouncing around from different assets. Um, we did see that, the S&P 500 hit new all-time highs, but as you can see, some red candles are forming here, right? Go back to the correlation. DXY is pumping. Go back to the correlation of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dumping. So looking at these things holistically really helps to set the picture and set the table, and you can really plan out your strategy for investing. And folks, I invest in stocks. So I have Coinbase stock. I have PayPal stock. I've been following PayPal closely because the CEO said they're going to make a big announcement on the 25th, which is going to be Thursday. My hopes are it's a partnership with X or Twitter with Elon, but we'll have to wait and see. But PayPal is neck deep in crypto. They have a stable coin, they offer crypto trading and much more. Now, something else that's interesting, Japan's Nikkei closes at the highest in over 33 years. So we are seeing, once again, currency printing and liquidity is increasing, and assets are moving to an all-time high. Now, you may say, well, Tony, I haven't heard anybody start QE as yet. Well, just yesterday, folks, let me pull it up here. We had news that China is reportedly considering a stock rescue package that will include spending up to $2 trillion or 2 trillion yen, I guess you would call it, which is approximately $278 billion to prop up the Chinese equities. So, folks, global liquidity is going to continue to rise. This is why we zoom out. This pullback doesn't mean crap. Whatever. Oh, it pulled back. Oh, yeah, okay, great. It has many other times. Point is, from a macro standpoint, we are in the next bull market right now, right? Zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. So you will have volatility along the way, but we're going to see a move to new all-time highs. I think we will see a blow off top in 2025 for Bitcoin and crypto. So patience, dollar cost average in, pay attention to what's happening. Now, I do want to address some things that have been floating around the crypto market. That is, people are freaking out that FTX sold $1 billion of Grayscale's Bitcoin's ETF, GBTC. And I'm like, who the hell gives a crap? I don't care. They're selling fine. At some point, they're gonna have to distribute. I'm glad they're distributing now because the price is pulling back, right? And it's the good timing, in my opinion. Some people are like, "Oh no, they're crashing the market." No, they're not crashing the market. Bitcoin was due for this correction, the retracement move, right? Here, for example, one analyst here did a great job charting 2016, 2019, and 2024. Here he's saying we are down 20%, but history tells us the drop is not over yet. If we go down to 30%, that puts us around 35K. Normal market cycles playing out. The narratives or and news and whatever is whatever, just noise. And plus, these guys are not gonna be selling on the open market. They're most likely selling OTC. OTC is over-the-counter trading, so they're selling not to affect the open market, and, so I don't even think this is affecting the market in any way. Yes, the outflows look like crazy, but this is just the flush out because of Grayscale long-term massive a bag of Bitcoin before these ETFs were approved, and their fees are crazy. So it's expected. I don't think it has anything to do with this pullback. This pullback is just charts, right? I think there's a saying, "Show me the charts, and I'll tell you the news." So it is what it is at this point. I see some folks are saying the audio is choppy. Let's see if I can bring my mic closer. Can you guys hear me better now? Hopefully that's better. Um, so yeah, folks, GBTC selling, or FTX dumping GBTC, it has nothing to do with this pullback. This is simply market cycles. Once again, look at the DXY. This alone tells you what's going on with assets, right? Look at the stock, the S&P 500, red candle forming. So It's all market cycles, even the Nasdaq, which broke new all-time highs, also, seeing the same thing here, red candles forming. So it is what it is, my friends. Um, Now, once again, let's go back to that global liquidity news. China is gonna make this move. I think the United States is gonna be, down the line. I think in 2024, they're gonna start the money printing. We see that they are raising the debt ceiling. They're planning tax cuts. They're planning child tax credit and a whole bunch of other stuff. How are they gonna pay for it? They have to print money. So the money printer will be turned on not only in the United States, but globally. Global liquidity will rise, and this is good for assets, of course, stock markets, obviously Bitcoin and crypto. So this pullback gives you a buying opportunity, not financial advice, dollar cost average, have a strategy, know what your outlook is. If you're gonna dollar cost average here, let's say at 38K and Bitcoin drops to 35, and you're crying, then you don't understand market cycles, right? You dollar cost average, and no one knows what the exact bottom is gonna be, but that's fine. You're buying when the price is going down, when there's blood on the streets. And from a principled standpoint, that's the time to be buying, right? You buy the fear, you sell the greed, you sell the euphoria. So altcoins will probably bleed out a bit more. I'll be looking to accumulate some more. But yeah, it's a sea of red, but that's okay. Dollar cost average in, zoom out, have a macro outlook, right? I've been transparent that I bought Bitcoin and altcoins back in December 2022. I shared some of my buy order confirmations. And right now, I'm setting up buy orders for Bitcoin around 35, some at 30K. It may not reach 30K, but I'm also doing this for some altcoins. So I'll buy up some Solana, some maybe a little bit more XRP, some ETH, and here are my uh, potential scenario. I can swing trade it when it moves back up to, let's say, a new high this year. Just hold it for the new all-time high at the blow-off top in 2025. That's how I'm playing the market. I have my long-term hold bags, and I have my swing trade bags where market's going down, boom, buy it up. It swings back up, boom, sell it. So that's how I'm approaching it. That's how I make money in the market, guys. Now, what's interesting, Jim Cramer continues to tweet FUD about Bitcoin. Now, this is a positive sign. We've seen inverse Cramer play out time and time again. The man yesterday tweeted out, unlikely that Bitcoin finds its footing. Bitcoin equals tough own. This morning, now that Bitcoin is down about 20% from its high, it's I expect a strong stand to be made, but it won't hold because not enough money is coming in. New theme, number go down. Folks, that's music to my ears. I love it. I love it. Guys, I inversed them on PayPal. I inversed them on Warby Parker, and I made money on Warby Parker. PayPal, of course, I'll be selling the news when the CEO makes his announcement on Thursday. But last year in Q4 said PayPal was a value trap. And I was like, right then and there, if he made that level of a stance, I went and bought PayPal stock. So, uh, I've time and time again made money off of inversing him. Now he's saying all this stuff, right, as Bitcoin is on its way down. Guess what's gonna happen? In another few weeks, Bitcoin will find its bottom and then reverse. And then, right? This is the game this man is playing. He's liquidity, exit liquidity for his Wall Street buddies. He's not trying to help, uh, Bitcoin holders or stockholders. He's just playing narratives, folks. You do the inverse of Kramer. So Bitcoin pump. Expect a Bitcoin pump in the coming weeks. It's going to reverse, folks. Now, the Bitcoin spot ETFs continue to see incredible inflows. So here, Hunter Horsley of Bitwise said Bitwise bought $42 million more Bitcoin on behalf of investors today. Keep calm, carry on. We're entering a great chapter of Bitcoin. He's absolutely right. Zoom out, dollar cost average. Don't look at the daily, hourly, minute by minute charts. Those things will drive you nuts. It will throw you off your strategy. It will break your confidence because the market is just so volatile. But be like the smart money, folks. Buy when there's blood on the streets, when there's dumps. Hold, pay attention to the charts. You absolutely have to look at the charts. You can't just walk away from it. Don't get me wrong. When I say look at the charts, not the hourly or minute or daily, the macro. Um, Zoom out, folks. That's the important part. Zoom out, look at where we came from and where we're going, right? That'll tell you an incredible story. So, um, We got some ways to go, but rest assured we are out of the max pain zone, which was November, December of 2022. Look at where we've, you know, come up from. It's a good sign. The Fed has paused rate hikes. There's expected rate cuts, and like I said, global liquidity will return, and money printer will be turned on. Now, yesterday, guys, there was the hearing between the SEC and Binance, and this is significant. The Binance case is very different from Coinbase's case. Coinbase, as you all know, was approved by the SEC to go public to do their IPO. Their business plan, structure, operations, everything was green lighted by not only the SEC, but other government agencies. They never issued a token on their platform, and they don't have a stablecoin. Now, the juxtaposition to that is Binance. Obviously, they have a exchange token. They have a stablecoin BUSD. That is problematic, right? Um, and I've often talked about, the SEC is off base when it comes to many of these crypto assets. But don't get me wrong, there are crypto securities out there. There are tokens that could be considered securities. It's a matter of how decentralized they are. Now, the SEC is not distinguishing between the tokens. They are not being acting in good faith to help distinguish that, right? Gary Gensler has tried to put everything under the securities blanket. So that's the problem with the SEC. But there are decentralized networks and tokens out there which are not securities, but there are tokens in the crypto industry which are securities. I think BNB could be considered a security. This is problematic for their case. So Meta Lawman gave an update after the hearing concluded. He said, here are some of the big picture takeaways. The judge seems skeptical of the idea that BUSD stablecoin was offered as an investment contract. The judge seems receptive to the argument that Binance initially offered the BNB token as an investment contract. Right? It's hard to deny that. The judge seems uncomfortable with the idea that the token, even if offered initially as an investment contract, continues to be a security when traded on a secondary market for all eternity. So that's a great point, right? And this is where the Ripple lawsuit case law it really set the precedence. The secondary market sales cannot be considered securities because the users who are buying don't know many times where the token's coming from or what is involved in it, right? They see a token, they're like, "Oh, let me buy a basket of it. Let me buy the top 5." So that's a great point there, and that's actually really good. The SEC lawyer claims the token embodies the investment contract, which seems at odds with earlier statements that the token is nothing but lines of code. The judge was resistant to the idea of having mini trials over whether 10 to the 10 other tokens listed in the complaint were sold as investment contracts when the issuers of those 10 tokens are not in the case. The only other third-party issued token mentioned was Filecoin, no specific mention of ADA or Sol or the others. So that's interesting. Judge asked the SEC what the boundary is between tokens that are investment contracts and those that are not, because they are people buying and selling these assets, and they need to know nearly verbatim. It is hard for me to distinguish between the SEC's articulation of how a token may be an investment contract and what is happening operationally with Ethereum every day. Meta Lawman says, I am a little disappointed that Binance lawyers never argued that crypto tokens cannot be investment contracts if they do not carry with them the rights to income, assets, or profits or underlying enterprise. But I guess that's just me Monday morning quarterbacking. So folks, the Binance case is a little bit iffy. Once again, I think because they have an exchange token, BNB, and they issued a stablecoin, those can be problematic. However, as highlighted, the Ripple case law really set the precedence that, look, secondary market sales are not securities, and there's some nuances there. I don't know if Binance has a strong case here, folks, but it could be a split decision where there are some victories for Binance, which upholds some of the principles, like secondary market sales are not securities, but I think they don't have a strong case. Coinbase has a strong case. Absolutely, I believe that. And I'm hoping Coinbase destroys Gary Gensler and the SEC uh, in the lawsuit because we need that victory, folks. Remember, Gary Gensler is throwing a bunch of tokens in there. Filecoin, ADA, Solana, you name it, right? without litigating those tokens specifically, without giving them due diligence, or I should say, I forgot the terminology, it's escaping me right now, without litigating each of them individually, and giving them a fair trial. He's trying to sneak them into these lawsuits. So pretty pathetic. That's why I call him a scumbag regulator. Um, Real quick here, I just want to see if there's any questions. RLC Cooper says, "Hey Tony, any chance of interviewing Danelle Dixon?" Hey, RLC, I interviewed Danelle last year. I'm going to try to get her back on the podcast. Um, yeah, so I'll try to get her on. But I am a fan of Stellar and the things they're doing. Here, Metalawman also said, in the Coinbase and Binance hearings, the SEC touted the benefits of the guidance it had given about how to analyze whether crypto tokens are securities. Yet they omitted any mention of Bill Hinman's invention of the sufficiently decentralized test, as if it never happened. This is why I got to all of you have to retweet all those Bill Hinman speeches and videos and so forth. We have to use social media. Gary Gensler and the SEC are trying to bury that. It's almost like it never happened. They're trying to wipe it from the history books here, right? But before the internet, they could have done that. Now they can't. Everything lives on the internet forever. And the SEC, we know, corrupt to their core. They have fallen far from their core mission. And the corruption didn't just start with Gary. It started with Jake. Well, even before that, it's been there for a while, but it's been growing. And it was certainly rearing its ugly head with Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton. And we know the backroom deals that were done with Bill Hinman and Ethereum. So I hope that the lawyers in both cases continue to bring up Bill Hinman's sufficiently decentralized test. That's important. Remember, Ripple, they did that. That was a smart move by their lawyers bringing up Hinman and what he had to say because it exposed the SEC's hypocrisies and lies. So we got to keep fighting, folks. Now, let's move ahead here. Folks, the government really does not like Mark Zuckerberg trying to do anything with crypto. It's hilarious. I mean, look, Representative Maxine Waters sends a letter to Meta's newsroom CEO Mark Zuckerberg expressing concerns about new digital asset trademark applications. Here's a quote: "With its initial filings on March 18, 2022, Meta's application submissions as of January 22nd appear to represent a continued intention to expand the company's involvement in the digital assets ecosystem." Why am I sharing this with you? Remember when Facebook, before they branded Meta, tried to create a digital currency? I think it was called Diem. Uh, all these guys, Maxine Waters, a whole bunch of people in Congress, like, no, you can't do that, man. No, no, we're stopping this. They were holding hearings and so forth because they are so scared that Facebook's social network with billions of users, right, across Instagram, Snapchat, and all that, if you get people to start using their currency, it could cause a major shift in the control of their ability to control the money. And remember, they're working on CBDCs. So anything that pops up with digital currencies or crypto for Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and Facebook, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. It's crazy that they are so scared of it. It's amazing, and I'm curious to see what Mark decides to reply about on this. And they highlight that whether Meta intends on pursuing any projects related to Web3 digital assets or digital wallets. We don't want anything. Whether Meta is planning to launch payments platforms supporting cryptocurrencies. They are so scared. Oh my gosh, they are so scared. But this goes back to what the FUD we've been seeing from Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren, the people from the Treasury, Janet Yellen, and so forth. Pretty pathetic. But they're not going to win, right, folks? It's first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you. That's where we're at right now. Then you win. Ultimately, we will win. Disruptive technology always wins. And we're seeing, look, Max, not to be morbid or anything, Maxine Waters is a very old woman. Her generation is not going to be around forever. They're going to pass on, and we see a lot of millennials and younger folks are investing in crypto. They understand tech. They understand digital currency much better than all these folks in Congress for the most part. So, really interesting that they are still scared of Mark Zuckerberg trying to do anything with digital currencies and crypto. Now, guys, quick word from our sponsor. That is Uphold. It's a platform I've been using since 2018. I've interviewed the CEO, the CFO. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. I use them. They're one of my exchanges. Don't get me wrong. I have accounts with many different exchanges because in case one has a problem, I have different off ramps, right? So if I need to sell or I need to buy, I can easily jump to different exchanges. But like I said, I've been using them since 2018. They have a great app. Folks, they're also fully reserved. You can review their transparency report. They don't commingle or lend out your funds. You can also trade, guys, precious metals on here and gold and whatever else, palladium, silver, platinum. So it's a great platform. Check out Uphold. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, I don't know if how many of you saw Gemini Exchange was tweeting nonstop about XRP. I'll show you some of the tweets, and there were some jokes going around. The Gemini turn is going crazy, right? They were tweeting nonstop about XRP over the past few days. Don't forget about XRP. Excited about XRP. Well, they broke the news last night. They are launching XRP perpetual contracts. It's coming soon. So that's interesting. They offer spot trading, of course. They can have perpetual contracts. Folks, this is good. And it could lead to a spot ETF. Let me explain. What we've seen with Bitcoin and Ethereum is that you have futures contracts, you have spot trading, of course, you have perpetual contracts, you have shorts, right? The ETFs and all these things get approved first before the spot ETF. So I think the more financial products that are built around XRP, it will help in the ultimate goal of launching a spot ETF. And I think that goes for any other altcoins as well, Cardano, Solana, whatever it may be. And I think those are coming. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. We are dealing with scumbag regulator Gary Gensler. So, if someone was to submit an application for a spot ETF, I don't think the SEC would approve it right now because the ongoing litigation that the lawsuit has not fully wrapped up. So this is, certainly a good thing for the long run approval of XRP spot ETF and other altcoin ETFs as well. So, interesting update here by Gemini. Let's see here. Paul Grewal of Coinbase said, "We filed comments today on U.S. Treasury's proposed rule on crypto mixing. Coinbase supports effective regulations, but not bulk data collection and reporting requirements for all transactions involving any crypto mixing, even with no indication of suspicious activity." So many of you know about the situation with Tornado Cat. I think these governments are still struggling to understand how to regulate this. And of course, many times they have this knee-jerk reaction of, "Hey, let's shut it down and let's collect as much data." And some of these things are not possible, and some of these things are violating the law. So I'm glad Coinbase and other big players are stepping in here, pushing back on the government. And like I said, we are in the then they fight you phase, but ultimately we will win. Let's see here. Now, remember the SEC hack and at the launch of the Bitcoin spot ETF with the announcements that BlackRock's ETF has been approved, right? It was so pathetic. It was so embarrassing for the SEC. Gary Gensler continued, his clown activity. Apparently, and Ellie Tourette of Fox Business reported here that the SEC provides update on its X account hack, saying two-factor authentication had been disabled for around 6 months prior to the hack. Here's a quote: "While multi-factor authentication had previously been enabled on the SEC X account, it was disabled by X support at the staff's request in July 2023 due to issues accessing the account. Once access was reestablished, the multi-factor authentication remained disabled until staff re-enabled it after the account was compromised on January 9th. Multi-factor authentication currently is enabled for all SEC social media accounts that offer it. The SEC has also confirmed that it was indeed a SIM swap that occurred, and the unauthorized party gained access to the phone number via telecom carrier, not via SEC systems." Full statement. Well, folks, I know myself and others speculated, was this done on purpose by the SEC, or is it just the pure incompetence of scumbag regulator Gary Gensler? Gary, while he's a scumbag, I don't think he's an idiot or a dummy. So it's to be seen. Could there have been a screw up here, possibly, or was this done on purpose? I don't know. To try to make crypto look bad, right? Oh, you see, these crypto guys hacked us, and they tweeted this stuff out. We see what we're dealing with here. Um, but we will never know. And they could be straight up lying, right? We've seen the SEC lie in court. We've seen them lie against different people where the judge threatened a subpoena, or excuse me, a sanction of the SEC lawyers. We've seen Judge Stare Netburn said the SEC lacks faithful allegiance to the law. So they could straight up be lying. This is could all be fabricated, or they it just continued craziness under the reign of Gary Gensler as the chair. So, but what a mess. Now, in my interview with Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, um, we talked about Gary Gensler, and if you haven't seen the interview, be sure to check it out. But she's like, "Look, Gary's going to be gone. Whether Biden wins again, and this is not about politics. I'm not saying he will, but let's say Biden wins again. She thinks Gary's going to be kicked out because things have been so bad under, um, the first his initial tenure here. Um, and then if a Republican gets into office, he's definitely gone. So we'll see. We'll see. But look, I don't think the Democrats are going to be in trouble. Biden's in trouble unless something I don't know. I don't know what to say, but something crazy happens where people are distracted from the failures of Biden. Excuse me. Um, and he gets reelected. But if it stays the course, it's really bad right now, so I don't think he's gonna win, and Gary's definitely gonna be gone, right? 'Cause Gary's Democrat appointed. Um, so that's where we're at, and folks, I am sick and tired of these hardware wallets having security incidents and people getting doxxed, all their data getting hacked and sent out to different platforms. So Trezor apparently had a security incident on January 17th in which 66,000 users had their contact details exposed. Remember, this happened to Ledger a couple of years ago. And I'm hoping that they find a solution like put up the data on the blockchain so it can be hacked. It really sucks, folks. I know they're possibly, they're definitely under a lot of attacks, but they got to be better. You're a security firm, and this is such a Web two, situation, right? We've seen many companies get hacked and user data get exposed on the dark web and so forth. So, man, this really sucks. And hopefully, folks, you may want to when you sign up for these accounts, don't use your public email. Use like a new email. That's what I personally do. I have multiple emails that I use for different things, and the ones that I use for these platforms and exchanges is not my public email. Because your public email can easily be scrubbed on the web and so forth. So this really sucks, man. And then related to SIM swaps, make sure you call your cell phone provider, your carrier, and tell them, put a pin, lock your account so that no one can make updates without the pin, because people are getting hacked left and right. So just be careful out there, folks. All right, let's refresh the prices here, and I'll also answer some questions in the chat. If you guys have questions or something you want me to take a look at, you can add them in the chat. Let's see here. Yeah, so guys, just read. It is what it is, right? This is the market cycles playing out. If this makes you feel bad and it's affecting your mental health, step away from it. It's okay. Walk away from the charts for a few days. You know what I mean? Don't look at it. It'll rebound and just understand what's happening here, right? Use the facts. The DXY is pumping. So that means everything else will have red candles. Assets will have red candles. This includes the Nasdaq, which hit a new all-time high. This includes the S&P 500, which broke a new all-time high. Set a new all-time high. I kept saying broke, but set a new all-time high. Red candle. So it is what it is. Market cycles. Get used to it if you're new to this, folks. It is what it is. The sooner you get used to things like this, um, the better your mental health will be when it comes to investing, the less panic you will be, the less intense emotions of fear and just like, "Oh, it's pulling back. Where are we in the cycle? Okay, we are in a uptrend, and we're in a global macro bull market. Buying opportunity, dollar cost average in, right?" And you can set I don't know if you guys know about limit orders. You can set buy limit orders and sell limit orders, right? And put stop losses in there and so forth. So just it's important to educate yourselves about these things. Financial education is so important. When finally learned these things, it just opened up my another level of investing that I'm not moving by my emotions. I'm not just listening to what people on Twitter are saying, but I can go look at the chart and say, "Oh, okay. So we were pumping. We pumped all of last year, and we're due for a correction, and we're still within the zone of we have to find support, and then we'll go back into price discovery." And the DXY is pumping, so assets are gonna be down, right? And remember, there's a strong correlation between Bitcoin and crypto and the stock market, and that in itself is correlated to global liquidity. And like I said, guys, global liquidity is going to be on the rise. China is about to put 2 trillion yuan into their stock market. US will start printing this year, in addition to rate cuts. So better times are coming. QT will end, and we will be back in QE. Like I said, we are out of the max pain zone, guys. 2022. Look, this is a downtrend, right? We are now in an uptrend, but that downtrend was painful. You had the FTX collapse, which drove us down, and that was painful. A lot of fear out there, right? People, a lot of uncertainty. Screw Sam Bankman-Fried, of course. But look, we're out of that down zone, and now we're in an uptrend. That is something to keep into consideration and to understand what's happening. In addition to the stock market hitting new all-time highs. Now, I say all of that, but I also consider bearish scenarios, and that is could a black swan event happen and then boom, crash? Of course, but no one can predict that. We don't know if anything's gonna happen, right? Maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't happen, but you gotta be prepared for all scenarios. So if you are buying this downtrend for Bitcoin, and let's say you buy here at the support, right, 32, 33K, and all of a sudden, I don't know, World War III starts, and then Bitcoin crashes to 19K. You are not panicked. You're not, "Oh my god, I just bought. Oh no, it just keeps crashing." But rather, "Okay, it's crashing. Fine. I'm stepping away from the charts. That is what it is. I know that in the macro, we will return like we saw with C19 back in 2020, right, folks?" Let me refresh here. My charts are not loading for some reason. Remember what happened with C19, folks, right? That was pretty rough. Look at that crash. But what happened? Markets recovered. If there's doomers out there who always say, "Oh, things are going to end and it's going to be the end of the world," and all of that stuff. So, uh, unless the world is ending, markets will recover, right? Because civilization itself has to continue to move forward. And if markets die and economies die, then we got bigger problems to worry about, right? The end of civilization. So, um, hey guys, I apologize. I need to step away from the stream for a second. I'll be right back. Hey guys, sorry. I got a little bit of emergency at my house. So I will have to end the stream in a couple of minutes. Um, Nick Hurl 46, if I'm saying that right, says, "What are your topics for this cycle?" Look, I think the ETFs for Bitcoin are going to do well. I think ETH is going to do well. I think Solana, because the VCs are behind it, will do well. And I think a lot of Ethereum layer twos are going to do well. So I've been looking at those. In addition, I'm also looking at AI themed cryptos like Fetch.ai and Render as well. But yeah, guys, sorry, I got to end the stream due to an issue. But thank you all for joining. I'll try to do another live stream this week. But thank you guys. I appreciate you all and your support. And I'll talk to you all later.